Hi guys, I'm Jesse at Strobepro.com, and today we're going to be doing an in-depth video manual of the new Godox FV200 Continuous Hybrid Light. So this light has two functions. It has a 200 watt LED continuous light, plus it has the ability to flash. So we've got a bunch of new things in this light. We're going to get right into it and see what it's all about. So this light is going to be a fantastic main light for video work because of the COB technology. You've got 200 watts. It's really a great light for that. Now on the flash side of things, it is not going to be a direct replacement for any of your strobes. It just doesn't have the power to be able to do that, but it is an excellent companion for your video light to have that all built into the same head. So if you're a newborn shooter or you're doing product photography, even into some headshots and portraits, that's going to be fine for it. But getting into anything bigger than that, like group shots or using it outside or that, for photo work, I would recommend just staying with your strobes. You're going to have a lot more power out of those. So video, yes, strobe, maybe, but not if you're looking for that extra power. So now we're going to take a look what's inside the box, and this is the same box as the FV150, but this is the 200. So inside we're going to have a couple of things. So the first one being your reflector. Then we've got our actual strobe itself, or continuous light, and it's hybrid now. Our power cable, and then we've also got the remote control. So here we have the FV200 body here, and a couple of the new things I wanted to show you compared to some of the previous continuous lights that we've carried is the new yoke system. So that's the biggest thing you're going to see is this new mounting system. What that allows you to do is have better tilt angles, so we can go down or up, or we could mount that horizontally from a ceiling or anything. We have lots of angle to adjust it there. And then we've got our metal locking hinges in there, so it's not going to tilt on you. The other important thing to know about this is it is a Bowens mount, so any of our accessories or modifiers from Strobepro are going to fit directly to this, which is a really big benefit. On the front here, you're going to see the LED, and this is a COB LED, which just means chip on board. It's highly efficient, delivers the power and maximum output right to the chip. And the great thing about this is it's going to last for 20,000 hours or more, so you don't have to worry about this thing burning out. We've never had to replace one yet on any of our LED lights, so they're going to last you a really long time. So if we flip around here onto the bottom, we're going to see that we have an umbrella mount. So if you're using the reflector with that, this is where the umbrella shaft is going to slide through. And we also have our fan port. This is our main fan port here, and then we've got cooling all over the place on the bottom and even on the top, because the majority of this unit is actually built up of a heat sink. So cooling is obviously the most important thing. These fans also run quite a bit quieter than any of the previous version of the Godox lights, so that's a definite improvement. You won't be picking up near as much fan noise on your audio. If we come over here to the back, we've got our nice grip handle, so when this is up on a light, we can easily pull it down. And we've got some really easy to use control knobs and a high contrast LCD screen. And we're going to get into all of that in a minute here. So to mount the FV200, the first thing we want to do is make sure that the yoke is secure so it's not going to flip down and smash the light. And we also want to back off this thumb screw here. Now this light will fit any standard stand that has a standard spigot, and I would recommend probably our 10-foot stand or like a 13-foot boom or even like an 8-foot roller like this. It does have some weight to it, so you want to make sure that your stand is adequate enough to handle the weight of this light. So once we slide that onto the spigot, we're just going to tighten down the thumb screw, and now we have that secure. We can make sure that it's not slipping around and tighten back into position. So before we even plug this in, I want to stress that we need to take off the protective cover. It is clear on here, so it's a little bit hard to notice. Sometimes there is writing and warning labels on the front, but all you're going to do is you're going to pull the release lever on the top here and then give it a quarter turn, and it's going to pop off. Again, this has the Bowens mount, so to put it back on, it's just we're lining up the Bowens prongs to the Bowens receiver there, push it in, give it a quarter turn the other way, and it's locked in. If you leave this on and turn this light on, it will melt probably in about 10 seconds. So you do not want to leave that on there. It is a definite fire hazard. Please take this off before you even turn the light on. One thing I want to show you before we plug this in is underneath here is a fuse tray. So if you happen to ever blow a fuse on this, you take a little flathead screwdriver right underneath here. You'll see the picture of the fuse. Pop that out and there is a spare in there. So for any reason this is not working, that is the first thing that you would check to make sure that you hadn't blown a fuse. Now to plug this in, we're just going to take the end of the power cable and securely press it in there, and we're ready to turn it on with our power switch, which is right here. So I just want to show you how to attach a modifiers. It's very similar to that protective cover. So right here I have our 25-inch beauty dish, and it has our Bowens mount like all of our modifiers. And again, we're just going to go into the front here, and I have no idea where those pins are, but I just rotate it around until it drops in. Once it drops in, I give it a quarter turn, and there we've got the 25-inch beauty dish on there, and we can adjust as necessary, making sure that we Velcro up anything left. So we're going to leave a 7-inch reflector on there just so you can see the light a little bit easier, but any of our modifiers will fit this exact same way. So to put the 7-inch reflector on, we want to locate the umbrella mount hole. This one is new, so it hasn't been punched out. What you'll want to do is just punch that little piece out. It just pops off, and then you can dispose of that. But we know that our umbrella mount is on the bottom, so we're going to put this hole lined up at the bottom and just drop it in like we did with everything else. So when we put the umbrella shaft through there, it will line up with the umbrella mount on the bottom. We're going to start off in LED mode here, and there's just a couple things that we want to take a look at. First of all, on the screen, we're going to see our color temperature down on the bottom right. That's showing 5600 degrees Kelvin. That cannot be changed on this light because it is a daylight balanced light. So it's just indicating what temperature you're on, just if you want a reference point. Above that, we're going to have our power level, which is at 20% right now. In the top left, we're indicating that we are in LED mode. You also have the group indicated by A there and the channel down below that, and that is used to set communication with the included controller. So to change power on this light, it's really easy. We go to our knob over here on the right, and all we're doing is just rotating the dial. So we can dial that all the way up to 100%, and we can bring it all the way down as well, all the way to 1%. That's something new on this light. Previous versions of the LED range from Godox, you could only bring them down to 10%. So having that extra control on the bottom end is really something nice. We'll bring this back up to 20% here, and we're going to take a look at the dial on the left. Now, because we are in LED mode, this is often used for video. I mean, you can use it for photo as well, but we do have the hybrid flash mode on this. So we have some video effects, and those are controlled with this dial on the left. You'll see down here it says FX, and that's for special effects. So when I turn this, nothing's going to happen right away, but what I want to do, I want to push that button in. And right away you're going to see this light, it starts flashing, and we see FX1. We have 8 different modes on here. So right now we have a flashing light. If I rotate the dial, we're going to go to a different frequency flashing light. And I'll just go through the 8 of them here so you can see them. So just getting a little bit faster there. Now we're going into number 4, which is a lightning mode, and the difference in these ones is just how quick that lightning is spaced out, so you can simulate different kinds of storms there if you're doing some special effects with your video. This is the longest one here. And then this is to replicate a TV kind of in the background, pulsing in and out. The last special effect mode here is number 8, and this is a broken bulb. So you can see it pulsing really quickly there. And to get out of this menu system, we can just push the button again, and we're going to get out of special effect mode, and we're going to be right back into the main menu. So we've got the controller now, and this is included with every light, and it takes 2 AAA batteries. So to power that on, I just push the power button over here, and we're going to power up. Now we're going to see our group and our channel on this light, as well as our power level and our Kelvin temperature over here. And what we want to do first of all is just match up this group and channel. So you can see up here I'm on channel 2 group A. We need to change that to match. So if I go over here to the channel group button, if I push it once, I'm going to be on my group, and I can flip between different groups. And nice thing about that is I can save settings in each different group. So if you have multiple lights, set them on different groups, and all those settings are going to be saved in there. So if I wanted to lock that in, I can just hit the set button. Now what I need to do is go to the channel, and I'm going to press that twice. And now I'm over on the channel, and I've got 32 different channels. All you need to do is just pick one. It doesn't matter which one. And we'll hit the set button again to lock that in. Now if I use my plus and minus button, you're going to see that that is changing. And I can do that 2 different ways, just by clicking out one stop at a time here. Not one stop, 1 percentage point there. Or I can hold this down, and it's going to go much quicker. And you'll see it's not changing on the light yet, but when I let it go, then it's going to send the signal to the light, so I can bring that all the way up or all the way down much quicker by just holding that minus button down. We'll get back down to 20%, and there we are. So we mentioned before about the 5600 Kelvin, that is locked into that light. It's a daylight balanced light, but on the controller here we're showing 5900 degrees. Now, just so we're not confused, we can hit the middle set button here, and we can actually change that back down to 56 to match. Again, that's not going to actually change the light, but with some of our other lights you can use this controller as well. So setting it at 56 is just going to help you not to get confused. Now we have one more feature on the controller here. Now if I double press the channel group button, we're going to go into ID, and I can turn ID off and on, and I can set an ID. So this would be a situation where you were having interference on one of those 32 different channels. We could add in the ID, and that should eliminate any interference you're having. But if you go into this setting, make sure you're going to have to go into the custom functions on the light to make sure that it matches, because now that I set an ID on the controller, nothing is happening to my light. So if you ever get stuck, that's probably where you've changed something. So let's go in and turn that off again. We'll just hit the set button. Now we're off, and we've gained our control back. So just to show you in the actual menu here, if we hit menu, the very first function is going to be ID, and then we would just go in here, actually push that button, and then we can rotate to whatever ID we chose on the controller. 99% of the time you're not going to need to put an ID, but just in case you get stuck, that's how you change it. We've taken a look at the LED mode, but the great thing about this light is that it has the hybrid flash function. This is completely new to the Godox series of lights, and it's a really nice bonus. So price-wise with this light, if you're used to the old version, they're very comparable. So the way I see it, this whole new hybrid flash function is a nice bonus that you're basically getting for free. So let's take a look at that, and the way that we activate that is with our LED and flash button over here. So we could see before we're on LED, if I hit that, now we've gone to the flash, and you see the symbol up on the top. Our screen looks very similar to the previous LED mode. We have our color temperature, which is fixed down here. We have our group and our channel. We have this lightning bolt indicating that we're in flash mode. We have this new symbol up there, which is our modeling lamp. And then we have our power control, which is changed now. So previously it was a percentage. Now we're in fractions, and that's designed to match our other strobes and speed lights. So to change the power of this, now we're functioning basically just like a flash. We would rotate the dial to wherever we want, and we can see we now have this test button, which is illuminated. So we can hit the test button. It's going to fire the flash just like it would a normal strobe. Now you can see that we still have a modeling lamp on right now, and before our function was controlled over here with this knob, was controlling our special effects over here. But now it's controlling our modeling lamp. So we don't have to have this on. Right now we're still at 20% from before, but I could rotate this all the way down to 5%. I can go all the way up to 100% if I want as well. Or we can simply just click it and it's going to turn it off. So we don't have to have the modeling lamp on. We can turn it off and still have our flash function there. One thing to mention about our flash power, when we dial it all the way down, we're going to be limited to 1/16 of its power. If you try to go lower than that when you're hooked up to a controller, it's not going to go any lower. Just keep that in mind. Let's just circle back to the modeling lamp for a second here, because this is kind of a unique function. So previously we were on LED, so let's turn this back on. We're still in flash mode here, and we're at 100% on there. The great thing about the flash mode is that if we actually went up to 100% on our modeling lamp, the flash at 100% is actually going to be 4 times as bright, which converts to 2 extra stops of light. So it's great, you've got that extra power, so you can boost past what you're seeing out of the modeling lamp. So if you want to be ready to flip between video and take a quick shot with the strobe function of this light, then you can easily do that in this flash mode. Just keep in mind that you're not going to have the special effects if you're going to flip back and forth in this mode, because this knob is right now, it's controlling our modeling lamp. But if you're not using those special effects, this is a great mode just to keep the light in. I can go, control my modeling lamp, which is also working as my video here, and then when I want to go in and take a shot, it's ready to go. I can just fire off with my controller really easily. Another great thing about this light is that it's going to work with any of our X series controllers. So I have an XT Pro here. It'll also work with the X1 and the X2, which is great. It'll just function as another light in your system. So you can mix this with strobes or speed lights, all in the same controller. So again, the only thing we have to do here is make sure we match our group and our channel, which we have set on the light still to A on the group in channel 1. So here I have channel 1, and you can see our full controller video on all the functions of this controller and all our other controllers as well. We'll link that in the description. But basically I'm just going to go into A and highlight it here. This light is not TTL capable, so what I want to do is just change this into manual mode. So the way that I do that is just hit the mode button here. Now I'm in manual. So from there I can take the dial and just rotate that, and I can set my power to whatever I want, and then I can just hit my test button and I'm firing this light. One more useful function on the controller here, I just want to make sure I'm not highlighted on this channel or this group anymore, so I'm just going to hit the set button. And if I go over here to the modeling light, so MOD and the button below that, I can click that once, it'll turn the modeling lamp off on the light or turn it back on. So you can flip that on and off. It will just go to whatever power level you have set. You can't actually control the modeling lamp brightness on there, but it's useful to be able to turn that on and off quite quickly. So if you want the full video on this, just make sure you check that out on the link below. Another great feature about this light is its ability to do high-speed sync. Now your camera has a native sync speed, which is normally 1/250th of a second on Nikon. Canon's going to be 1/200th. Different cameras will have different speeds, and you can look that up. But what would normally happen if you stayed above that sync speed with your light, you get a big black bar that shows up. With this light, we can go into high-speed sync mode and sync all the way up to 1/8000th of a second, which is really nice for high-speed shots or if you need to capture motion. So the way that we do that is we would, on this Nikon that I've got here, just roll up our shutter speed, and I'll kind of hold this here so you can see it a little bit. I know this is a little bit not easy to see, but you can see, okay, now I'm at 320th of a second and it's stopping there. There's a new firmware on the controller that you need to go and hit your sync. So if I hit sync here, that's going to allow me to go into high-speed sync up there, and now I can roll even further So I can go all the way up to 1/8,000th of a second. And when I fire this, you're going to see the high-speed sync symbol has now popped up on the menu of the light. And if I bring it back down, so I'll just take it out of frame here, bring it back down to 200. Now when I fire again, high-speed sync is automatically turned off. A great improvement on the FV200 and FV150 compared to the older SL series is the fan noise. They're a completely redesigned fan. They're much quieter. They run a lot smoother as well. So I'm just going to be quiet here. You can listen to this unedited audio. And that's me standing basically 6 inches from the light here with a lav mic picking that directly up. We use these lights in the studio here, and it's no problem. If you pick up any fan noise at all, it's easily taken out in Adobe or whatever software you're using. The last thing to go over are the custom functions in the menu. So if I hit the menu here, before we already discussed the ID, that's the extra ID settings that we have on the controller. So make sure you don't set that unless you really want to. This 1P here, so if we set it, we can change the fraction. So we're going to go to P/P or P.P there and lock that in, and we'll just go back out. Now you can see that the power level has changed from fractional to a decimal point. So with some of the older controllers, if you still want to use that, you can go to this decimal point and it's going to match your older controller. Most of the new controllers, though, within the last couple of years are all using the fraction, but we try to make these products legacy compatible so your older controllers will still work. So I'm just going to go there, click that button, which is, the dial is also a button, and we'll just rotate that back to the 1/P, and now we're in fraction again. So we have F1 and F2, that's really the only two functions in there, so pretty straightforward. To back out of that, just hit the menu, and we're back on the main screen. The way I look at this light is it's a fantastic video light with that added benefit of the strobe. I'm not going to call this a strobe killer by any means, but it is there if you're the kind of person that shoots like tabletop, like food photography, or you're just doing headshots, or newborns. I could really see newborn photographers using the flash mode of this to be able to have enough power just for those wide open shots. It would be a really great option for you. And because of the cost of this, essentially it's the same price as the older versions, so like the original SL series, but now you're just getting that added feature of the strobe basically for free. So I think it's a no-brainer if you want to get into continuous and just have that extra feature of adjusting power and using it as a flash. I also love the ability to change to all my existing Strobepro modifiers. Because we've got the Bowens mount, it's just a quick and easy change. We don't have to buy more modifiers to fit this light. They're going to fit seamlessly, just like the controller system will. So if you've already got that controller for your strobes or speed lights, it's going to work directly with this guy as well. There's a lot of things I really like about this light. I'm definitely going to be adding it to my collection. So if you have any other questions about this light, please check them out at Strobepro. And until next time, I'm Jesse.